just a little bit about Create and Learn. I know many of you have been learning with us for quite some time. And I'm Jessie, founder and CEO of Create and Learn. And we teach a lot of really interesting classes. And most of them are small group classes with just 4 or 5 students. So today is actually a very special event. So with that, we are very excited to have a group of students from UC Berkeley. They did this most amazing thing, which is they built entire Berkeley campus inside of Minecraft. So they're going to share with you what they did, the stories behind it, and hopefully many of you will be inspired to do even more and create even more in Minecraft after this. Another thing I want to say is after this event, the team is actually doing a tour inside the Minecraft campus they have built. Some of you will be able to sign up and join inside the Minecraft. All right, with that, let's get started. Very exciting, so go ahead.
All right, folks. I thought we might as well start with a little bit of a flying tour here, but here we go. As you can see Sproul Plaza right here. We're going to be heading down through Sather Gate, which was custom modeled by one of our builders. Heading down the road here and up into Wheeler Hall, one of Berkeley's biggest lecture halls for the presentation. Alrighty, once we get the others, alrighty, we're ready to go here. Hello and welcome to Blockeley, using code to build a community. My name is Nick. I'm at the podium at the moment, and we're going to go ahead and get started with some intros. Thank you guys for coming today.
Hello, my name is Jamshid. I'm jumping up and down in the middle over here. I am a rising sophomore at UC Berkeley, and I was leading backend efforts along with Rohit, who wasn't able to join. I've been playing Minecraft for almost 10 years, since 1.2. It's been a long time. And I was super excited to help out with Blockeley.
Hey everyone, just like I said, I'm Nick. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. I graduated in 2020 with a degree in physics and astrophysics, and my main role in Blockeley is that I was the build lead and the commencement coordinator for the graduation that we hosted. I've been playing for somewhere around 10 years as well.
All right, hi guys, I'm Christian. You can see me jumping up and down on the screen right there for a second. I'm also a rising sophomore. I was build lead with Nick and then also community director to help keep our community engaged for Blockeley.
Hey, I'm Elliot. I am also the same year as Nick, but I'll be taking an extra semester, so I'll be graduating this winter. I study economics and data science with a minor in computer science, and I was the executive director for Blockeley. And I've been playing Minecraft for a while too, I think since beta 1.3, which is I think when wolves were added to the game.
Hi everyone, I'm Unknowhere, and I'm a rising senior at Berkeley and studying computer science, and I was mostly in charge of all the special effects and various technical aspects of the things you might find visually around our server. I've been playing this game pretty much about as long as everyone else here, it seems. Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and get started with Christian discussing kind of the history of Blockeley. Go ahead, Christian.
So hi everyone. So as I said earlier, my name is Christian. I'm going to be walking through Blockeley's history and how it came to be. So it all started on March 15th when our founders Bjorn and Hunter started to host a small commencement to celebrate their senior friends who were graduating. Because of the coronavirus, many people had left for home. We're starting virtually, so we canceled the physical graduation. So Bjorn, Hunter, and their siblings started building a memorial stadium. So on the bottom left, you can see one of the very first images of our build. Then on March 19th, they posted on Berkeley's Facebook student groups that they're building a stadium in Minecraft. This is when me, Nick, Elliot, and a few others joined the project. Originally, we only planned to create the stadium in Minecraft and that was it, but we finished way faster than we predicted. Out of our boredom, we started building more of the surrounding buildings, such as International House and Maxwell Field. You can see an old screenshot on our map very early on in the top left. That yellowish building on the top right is iHouse, which is also known as International House. Eventually, we had the idea of building out the entire campus and we got started. You can see some progress photos on the bottom right. So after a month or so building, progress started slowing down and we realized that we were gonna need some help. And then began the Discord era. For those who may not be familiar with what Discord is similar to Facebook Messenger, Google Hangouts, or TeamSpeak. It's a program that allows you to communicate with other people via text, voice, or video chat. On April 19th, one of our team members posted again on Facebook that we were going to need help rebuilding the campus. He took some really nice screenshots using a shaded resource pack and posted that, which you guys kind of saw in that intro video, and that really got people interested. It was on that day that our small project exploded in popularity. This is the time that our Discord server basically exploded because we were inviting so many people into the server to join. So our first audience question of the day is, how many people do you guys think joined us that day on our Discord server? Okay, I'm seeing some good answers. I think some of you actually got it correct. So we had over 1,000 people join that day. Isn't that crazy? So you can imagine the chaos that came from all these people joining at once and everybody messaging us that they wanted to help build. So our team had an emergency meeting and quickly came up with a solution on how to organize the huge influx of new people. In order to keep our server safe and reduce the chances of our build getting griefed, we created a builder application as a screening tool to help griefers and other people out. Just going to talk about the projects they're working on, a suggestions channel on how to improve our server, and even memes. There's even a section with new builder tips to help people get started if they didn't know how to use World Edit, what to start working on. This way we are much more organized and we could more easily find information instead of asking the same questions multiple times. Also, at least one admin or moderator was on at all times on the server to help answer any questions, in addition to help building the buildings. So eventually the rate that people were entering and joining the project started slowing down a little bit. We started building up all the way until May 16th. On May 16th, we held the Blockeley University commencement. And I have another question for you guys. How many people joined the stream? Keep in mind that this is going to be a bigger number considering that this is for the entirety of UC Berkeley. So how many people do you guys think joined our Twitch stream that day? The correct answer is we had over 11,000. So whoever said about 10K or 11K, you were very close. And I saw there's a lot of people in there who had that answer. So yeah, over 11,000 people streamed our event. So we were able to host an extremely successful commencement. We had some very important individuals such as our school leader, our Chancellor Cale Christ, Vice Chancellor Mark Fisher, even one of the official Minecraft or Mojang storytellers, Lydia Winters. After this event, we had the Blockeley Music Festival, which is a live stream music festival similar to Coachella or EDC, complete with crazy looking stage effects and interactive DJs, plus an explorable map for the event. We had over 40 artists such as Nightmare, Theoro, Infected Mushroom, Barely Live, and many more. This festival went on for 2 days, going from Friday evening all the way to Sunday. After the commencement, we reached a more current era, the post-commencement era. After the commencement, we got loads upon loads of news articles reporting on our successful commencement event. After that, we've hosted another event called My March, which was a protest walk around the Blockeley campus in support of Black Lives Matter. One of the members of the community, a 10-year-old named Dean, asked us if we could help him spread the word and support the Black Lives Matter movement. We had a short live stream with over 20 people in the game, walking around campus and holding BLM signs, as you can see in that bottom middle picture. And most recently on July 4th, we and several other Minecraft college campus organizations came together to celebrate July 4th. As you can see in that bottom right picture, that's our logo and in a very nice particle firework demonstration. That celebration included a series of mini games and competitions between the different colleges with a beautiful fireworks show at the end. So in building Blockeley since the very beginning, there are stories upon stories of funny and crazy things that have happened on the server. So many people from UC Berkeley who have come online and have been extremely happy just being able to relive campus from home in this hard time. It is communities like these that really bring people together and just create a positive event in your life. In the end, Blockeley isn't just a Minecraft server. Blockeley, in its more formal definition, is a living monument or an archive that stands to reflect UC Berkeley, its students, and its overall history. But Blockeley is even more than that. It is the culmination of tens of thousands of man-hours of work. It is the result of not only the builders, but of the community of strangers and everyone else who's joined on the server. After all, the only limit is our imagination. And then speaking of builders, I'm going to hand off the mic to Nick to go more in depth of our building process and how he actually made Berkeley physically.
Thanks, Christian. Hey, y'all. So like Christian was saying, we started our building process with the stadium because that's originally all that we were going to build. And then someone was like, oh yeah, let's just build the whole campus. But the biggest problem with building the entire campus, the stadium is on the very edge of the rest of the campus, meaning that as we built out from the stadium, any small errors that we made would get bigger and bigger and bigger if we didn't plan really carefully. So what we had to do was, just be super cautious as we went along. And that's just assuming that we had only minor errors with the initial construction, which is not even true in that case, because as you can see, the direction north is on this map. This is actually what the stadium looks like in real life. It's actually tilted almost 40 degrees off of north. And so we started in a situation where we already had to be super cautious. Thankfully, the layout of the campus made things a little bit easier. The campus, we started with just making the outline of the campus with the roads that make up its edges. And you can see that it's roughly rectangular with some pieces sticking out on the sides, particularly the east and west. It was, we were able to, within that rectangle, lay out the rough placement of buildings. And one might ask how we did that, because it might make sense for us to say, build the whole building and then put it in the right place. And that was initially one of our ideas, but we ended up realizing that moving a whole building was actually really stressful on the server. So what we did instead was this is what our outline of on the server looks like. You can see it's pretty much identical to the previous. But we, instead of building the whole building and then moving it around, we created these rough little orange footprints that you see in this left image. So these little outlines enabled us to actually move a building before it was constructed to make sure everything was in just the right place. This other image is a really early top view screenshot of what the campus looked like. You can see all the outlines as we're gradually placing things, and all those dirt sections are where we started clearing out dirt in order to terraform it and make it as accurate as possible for the altitudes and hills throughout Berkeley. So now for an audience question, what do you guys think is the most important factor in us building everything? It's just one word. All right, I'm seeing some really good ideas here. The biggest thing that we had was actually people, because the blocks aren't just going to place themselves. And for us, it was not only that, but we needed people who were very familiar with the layout of campus, because our build procedure could only do so much. We had to make sure that the person who's building a building, spent time in the real version of that building or walked by it every day. And so because of that, we really had to make sure we had a really diverse background of people. Initially, we actually didn't have that. A lot of us are math and science folks, and so the portions of the campus that are math and science tend to be in one area. So that area was built super fast while the rest of the campus lagged behind. And so as we got more builders, we made sure to have a very diverse background of people doing it. One of the biggest helps for us actually was people doing people who did things outside of their own classes and such. That's the reason I joined initially, because I was in the marching band during my 4 years here at college, and there's a part of the part of the stadium that is super important to me. And when they initially released photos of the stadium, it wasn't quite right. And so in order to make up for that, I reached out and asked if I could fix it using some reference photos, the photo you see above, to build the area that was so important to me. All of our builders have stories like this about why they joined. It's just a huge part of what we do. So now for the actual precise building process. So there's a couple of steps to it, but so the first step here is to build the outline, which you see here of Stanley Hall. It was actually built by Christian, our previous speaker. But you see this really nice outline, which was referenced using this lower image of Google Maps. As you can see, the outline's really, really accurate because we were able to measure the precise distances all around this building. The next step was to create the facade, or just the walls, just so we have a fake exterior. That enabled us to just create the outside and make it look as accurate as possible using reference photos, of which we had thousands, and also using Google Maps as a reference. Finally, we used that same satellite view to create the roof, placing it, just short of the walls, so it's all visible. And occasionally we would actually do the interiors, but it was pretty rare because we were building 120 buildings. We didn't really have time. However, we are currently inside one of the few interiors that was built. So it's this is like a very, very famous hall in the Berkeley campus. So as I said before, it's a roughly grid shaped setup in Berkeley, but it's not perfect. As you can see in the image here, I've aligned the grid to the building in the right corner, but the other two buildings on this image are way off skew, which is a significant problem for us and something we had to regularly take into account. But we wanted all of our buildings to still be on grid. So I'll show you two problems that we had to resolve. The first one was Maxwell Field. Maxwell Field is this little practice field that is directly next to our stadium. As you can see in real life, they're perfectly parallel. But if you remember, the stadium was tilted, and so if we kept the field pointing the same direction as the stadium, it would be deep in the hills, which is a huge problem for us because that was our starting point. It couldn't be that wrong. So the compromise we ended up going with was actually to keep the stadium the way we had it faced, not correct, and then put the field in the correct place, as you can see here. I'll actually go check out that spot in a few minutes. The other problem that we had was Oxford Street, which is the west edge of campus. This west edge of campus, there's a road that connects from it to the very center of campus in a perfectly straight line, touching both the building in the top, or the building in the top right of the left image, and the fields down below. But in our version, because of how we ended up building everything, we actually had to create two copies of the end of that road to connect to Oxford Street to make up for this fact. I'm going to move on to On Nowhere to discuss the practical effects that we use to create Blockeley.
Hi everyone, I'm On Nowhere. You might see I'm a Kiwi bot, a little bot robot that roams around our campus and even in game. So what I worked on mostly in this event was the visual effects for our shows and servers and events that we've done. And for example, just now, the little robot that I was one example of the many things that we had to create for this server. There's one big challenge when it comes to creating the special effects in Minecraft, and that is that the game is full of creative potential while also being limited in what it can do. You're limited to the constraints of this blocky world and all the features it provides, and sometimes there's a lot of things that the game can do and things that the game can't do out of the box. Well, for the things that it can do, for the things that it can't do, sometimes we can be creative and find ways to make it possible through, for example, coding. A lot of coding went into our process to be able to create these special effects and come out of these limitations. Often with real life projects even, you might find you have to code within an existing system, in this case, Minecraft. So sometimes we have to find creative ways to bring our ideas to reality within that system. You may have even noticed that this presentation itself is even in Minecraft, which is not something you may have thought the game could do. And we had to come up with a way to display and control these giant images, and with the specialized resource packages. And even this, just this presentation took some creative effort into breaking through these limitations. So let's take a look at a few of these effects that we have to actually work on. So the first thing to think about when it comes to limitations is that you shouldn't see these limitations as a restraint, because with limitation comes creativity. The limitations for us, they challenge us to find creative ways to bring our ideas to reality within the constraints of Minecraft. So in this case, in our first example, we want to create a memorable part of our campus, the Campanile, which is a clock tower that chimes every hour, as you may have heard earlier at the start of this presentation. The main limitation here came from the fact that the game normally wouldn't let you check the real time. Like, how would you be able to get the actual time of the world within here? Well, we looked around, and there's actually one place where we actually can find some sort of time, which is in this block called a command block, which maybe you might know, maybe you might not know, but it's programs, a small short program, like one line command that for every single block. And actually in its output, there's a little tiny piece of text that tells you the current time. So using some tricks, we had to figure out a way to pull this number out, which normally you shouldn't be able to do. So using code, we actually generated a file that would check this block against every possible time value, every single hour. So we had, so using that, we can find exactly what time it is and then sync the world time to California time and chime our bell every hour, just like real life. So when it was 11 o'clock here, you heard 11 chimes in the game. If you didn't, yeah. So that's just the first one. And we can check the second one. This is our second effect, which now we're starting to get more complex. Now, perhaps you may think, so somehow we needed a good way to help players navigate the map in game because Berkeley is huge. So it's easy to get lost. However, Minecraft doesn't come with a mini map. So how could we create our own? Well, first of all, what can we do? There's something we can do, which is we can make items look like other items or even look like images using a resource pack. You might have used resource pack maybe to change the look of your game to make it look like something else, maybe. Great, so we can use this and we can display a map image, something like this. Next, where can we display this and how? So maybe maybe you know about the advancements or achievements menu in game, which if you ever played survival, I'm sure you've obtained some advancements, for things like entering the nether or gathering wooden tools, iron armor. Well, the game actually lets us add new advancements. So what if we can use this and display a map instead of an advancement? Because every advancement has a little image of an item, we can just display something else. Well, that's a good idea, but now the execution is the tricky part because, well, we need to show the precise location of the person for every single position on the map. Here you can see a little X, which is X marks the spot. That's where you are. Well, it's a big map, so we had to actually generate up to 3,000 plus files to control this map, just this mini map to control it. And by giving and taking away these achievements from players, and each one would display a different location. So it was a very complex process, and you can see here all the thousands of files, just a small snippet of the thousands of files, and even the code, a small snippet of the code as well that was took to generate this. We were able to make the game automatically show you where you were in the world at any place. And for the final effect I want to introduce you guys to is, well, we recently celebrated July 4th. We recently celebrated July 4th on our server with the fireworks festival that we threw for all the colleges that have been working on recreating their campuses in Minecraft. Yeah, we're not the only one, of course. There's been so many colleges that have been working so hard on their own projects and making their own campus, just like we have been. Some teams small and some teams big. And so we wanted to have something a little special for our finale to celebrate their accomplishments. So we wanted to display an image of every college's icon that came and helped put this festival together. Well, we have a limitation immediately. So Minecraft doesn't let us show images like this in the game normally. And especially it doesn't let us make them look like fireworks or particles. So how else can we display this? Maybe we can make it look like a firework. Well, the game does have particles, which is actually fireworks are particles, but fireworks don't let us control it as well. So what if we could use there's particles. Particles are like torch smoke, redstone dust, and explosion particles. And there's even one particle that lets us color it. So what if we can use that one particle for every pixel of the image? That's exactly what we did. So we created another script, another piece of code. Everything, code is a big savior here. That using this script, we created one file for every single college. Each one had up to 2,000 commands because every single particle, every single pixel here had to be a single command to display it. So we were able to get a picture of a dog in there. Now we come to the music festival, which it was a 2-day-long festival we held, which being a music festival, we just had to have as many crazy visual effects as possible. And Nick, I don't know if you can display the video. So there's a process we like to follow when it comes to any challenges we face. First, we have to identify the situation, consider the problems, and then come up with a solution around those problems and limitations we have. So what was the situation here? Well, we had to create a single effect. We had to create every single effect needed for this event. If you look here, there's lasers, there's beams, there's glowing lights, and a lot more things that we had to create just to make it look good. Lots of particle effects. So, and we also had to make that last the entire duration of a 2-day festival, like a real life 2 days, not Minecraft 2 days. So that's a lot of things, a lot of content we have to create. We also have to have these effects match up with the song, and there's 60 artists and way more songs. So that's a ton of work we have to put in. We have to make this possible. We considered manually syncing our effects to every song. Realistically, the time would not be enough. We only had about a week to create all the visual effects for this show, actually, which is really short if you think about it. We have to find a way to make this process faster. So considering these issues, we came up with a solution and put it to action. What can we do? Well, we can code, definitely. We have a team, we have multiple people. So we would pre-program, create all these visual effects that can be manually triggered. And one of our developers who goes by Vacant Future worked on the program for the visual effects side of things, for the on-stage visual effects, and used to create complex animations for all the lights and lasers. Every single effect had to create and customized so we could play them at any time in the show. Even the individual effects had to take a touch of creativity to create. So the laser is actually guardian beams, and even ender crystal beams from the end dragon fight. Just various little nice looking things we could reutilize, repurpose for this effect. And then we also had to assemble a team, of course, who would control these visual effects live. That's how we were able to sync it. Given the time limitation, that was the best thing, best solution we could come with. And another developer who goes by Mathematician, which is a fitting name, actually created the systems to control the cameras, syncing the artist on stage between all our servers and making it possible to players to search around the map and find fun collectibles, which you can see here, little things you can wear on your head. And so, which were also individually modeled and textured for the event, which took another person and another another set of effort that we have to put in. So by utilizing the power of plugins and coding and working together as a team, because to distribute our abilities to take on each part of the challenge one by one, we could decrease the development time while also increasing the visual wow factor of the festival. Yeah, so it would never have been possible if we didn't have our team. And so very grateful for all the people here who are talking on stage as well.
I'm ready for that video.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's take a look at that video so you can get a little idea what it looks like. Is there sound? Here you can see the lasers, the particle effects, the images on the screen, and lots of visual effects going on right here. One of the main hurdles is also to display all the artist's unique short video clip in the game. So, and you might have noticed in the video, it was a little brief, but in the background, there were these giant images. They're actually the same image as this presentation is using. And maybe you might have noticed that maybe it was a little laggy. but that's you can be reassured that in the actual event, this was not as laggy as that. It was that's probably the actually the Zoom, the FPS of the Zoom screen sharing. Anyway, so one of the hurdles is making these video clips and having to display in game. Yet, so the problem here, we got even less time for this. This was actually one day before the actual event. We had not only that, we had 100 visuals to prepare, each one being almost all of them being a GIF, which is animated. So we have to also consider that. So this resource pack is going to be huge, and we only had one day. So what's the solution? What are the things we can do within one day? Well, we still have a team. So we can get a team of all of our staff and builders, go through the hundreds of visuals artists provide. And there were hundreds, there's 60 artists, each one, some of them provided even like 100 of their own. So we had to select one or two from every single one of them. This was a big effort. And then we had to coordinate this and then run every visual through image compression and scale them down to reduce the file size. We even have to generate an animation sheet for every single GIF in a format that Minecraft can understand. A lot of process that goes into that. And finally, we had to create a program, so really doing all this as is just going to take way too long. Again, that's where coding comes in play. It makes things easier for us if we find a way to make it possible. So we have a program that sifts through all these files, cleans up the images, generates all the extra files, models, instructions, textures, and everything that the game needs to display it, and the code that actually makes them show up on the screens. So 3 things were key to our design process for all these visual effects. I like to call them 3 C's. They're a little cheesy, but they're collaboration, creativity, and coding. And in our event, you probably saw this. There's a lot of collaboration that goes into countless effects and interactive things created for our server, and it shows between our different team members and developers. Without that collaboration, there would have been no way we could have created and utilized all the countless visual effects we had. And we had to there was too much work, so we had to distribute the effort and also have good communication between them. Once we have the people, we still need the creativity to work with all these limitations, bring out the full potential of this game we love to play so much, and I'm sure you guys love too. Some of these effects we created had actually never been done before in the game, so always be prepared for coming up with some new things. None of this would have been possible without the raw code that we created to make it all possible. With the help of coding, we were able to bring these effects to life, even using code to generate code for us, helping us take these gigantic stacks and shrink them down and compress them to make them possible within a limited amount of time, like even one day, like for all those images. So coding is a powerful tool. Anyone can learn it. I'm sure you guys all have your own projects as well. And keep learning it, because with it, we can make a lot of what seems impossible possible. And you never know what projects you might take on someday. So yeah, don't stop and keep coding. Thanks. And next we'll bring, next we have Mystery on to talk about our server architecture.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jamshid, and I worked on the server infrastructure for Blockeley. If you don't know what that means, that basically means I made sure that everyone was able to get online together and play. So what I'll be telling you about today is when you join a Minecraft server, what's really going on in that computer? And what are you able to, how are you able to see your friends in Minecraft? So first of all, we have this question: what is a computer? Basically, a computer is like what you're using right now, of course, for video calls like Zoom, or browsing the internet, or playing games like Minecraft. Personal computers are super powerful, but there's also different types of computers. These computers are not meant for personal use. They don't even have screens. All they do is think. These computers are called servers, and they are basically running the internet behind the scenes. It's super cool. You can think of all computers like houses. When someone in your house wants to send out information, you can basically mail it. And when they receive information, they're like receiving mail to their mailbox. you can think of mail like data, like a text message or a Google search. Now, if you just replace these houses with actual computers, you can start to see how stuff is transferred from computer to computer. At the top, you have your computers, like your laptops that send and receive information from the server at the bottom. So how does this tie into Minecraft? Well, remember how I said like each computer is a house? You can actually fit multiple Minecraft servers into a single computer. Similar to a house, you can think of each Minecraft server as a room. Only a few people can fit into a single room, but you can have multiple rooms inside a house. So why would you want to do this? Well, even though we have one big Blockeley map, we weren't able to fit as many people as we wanted into a single Minecraft server. Minecraft has some limitations. Can you guess how many people can fit into one Blockeley Minecraft server? 10, 100, or 1,000? What do you think? The answer is B, 100. Even though other types of servers can hold more or less people, Blockeley in particular could hold around 100 people per Minecraft server. So now you can see that there's a computer and each room can hold 100 people. Now, can you guess how many Minecraft servers can fit onto one computer? Is it 4, 8, or 16? All right, some of you are getting it right. The answer is B for Blockeley. That is 8. We could fit a total of 8 Minecraft servers into a single computer. So in reality, this is what one computer looked like. With 8 rooms total, each room holding 100 people, we could fit a total of 800 people into a single computer. Isn't that awesome? But we wanted more than 800 people. So we got 8 whole computers. That's a total of 8 times 800, which is 6,400 people online all at once. It's a massive amount of people. However, there were some mean people that did not like us, and they decided to infiltrate our servers. They did this by sending a bunch of fake players into our servers so that our servers became overloaded with so many people. These fake robots that joined were taking up the space of the 100-person servers, so only a few people could get in at a time. They're demonstrated by the frowny faces in red. This is called a DDoS attack, or a distributed denial of service. That's basically just fancy talk for what I just said. So this was a great learning experience for me and for the rest of the team, and it really emphasized the importance of double-checking your work. Since we were in a rush to secure our servers, we were all taking tests during finals week. It was really hard for us to double-check everything, but we'll definitely prioritize this and keep this in mind for next time. So that's the basic idea of how Minecraft servers work. I hope you enjoyed it, and now here's Elliot to talk about branding and marketing.
Hello, my name is Elliot. I was the executive director for Blockeley, which meant I oversaw like finances, operations, marketing, and things like that. And I'll be telling you about the marketing and branding for Blockeley. So, what exactly is branding and marketing? You know, I mean, I could just give you like dictionary definitions, right? But I want to give you a different way of thinking about it. So, I think this may also help you answer some other questions you may have, like, how did a Minecraft server end up on international news? How did you get so many volunteers? How did you get sponsored by like companies like Razer and Nvidia? And how did you book 65 international artists to perform for free? So branding and marketing is important because it helps us figure out what Blockeley actually is and what it means for everyone, not just Minecraft players. Over the weeks, we were asked many times, is there survival mode for Blockeley, or will there be mini games to play on campus, and so many other good ideas. And these are all great things that we could have done, but that wasn't what we intended Blockeley to be from the start. We wanted to keep it simple. Why? Because how would you explain Blockeley to someone who's never played Minecraft before? How can we keep Blockeley a welcoming and exciting name for everyone, and like your grandparents? That all comes down to keeping it a simple story to tell. So, how do you tell a simple short story? Let's break it down to some simple questions. We want to address who, what, and why. For example, Who are the builders of Blockeley? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? And who is this all for? Now that we've answered that and have the basics of our story, what do we do with it? The next step is to stick with it. This allows us to make sure that as the story spreads, we are able to promise and deliver that story. So for example, for people who follow or join the team, what should they expect at the end? Every story needs some type of ending, right? So in this case, it's defining what is our goal. What absolutely needs to happen? Sure, predictability is boring, but at the same time, movies have trailers for a reason. People need something to be excited about, and this also helps them picture in their head what they should expect. Also, it's pretty critical, like make sure it absolutely happens. Imagine a scene in like a movie trailer not actually showing up in the movie. That would really suck. So a little more on sticking to the story. Why is it bad to change the story over time? Because sometimes the first impression can be the last impression. People will share the story with their friends, and those friends will share the story with their friends and family. So now when all these people are super excited about this and come back together on the day of the event, imagine the confusion if everyone had a different thing in mind. That would be really bad. So what is Blockeley's story? I'm actually, since I see the chat is pretty busy right now, I'm gonna give you guys a couple seconds and see what you guys can come up with. This is Blockeley's story. The class of 2020 gets together in Minecraft to defeat the Ender Dragon using snowballs and eggs. Yeah, just kidding. That was very funny. But yeah. Yeah, this is actually Blockeley's real story, and that is UC Berkeley students, faculty, and alumni coming together during the pandemic to create a special ceremony for the graduating class, all in Minecraft. So one way to tell your story is through your brand. One of Blockeley's first priorities was consistent branding. We had a dedicated marketing guy named Harrison manage all of our social media accounts. And part of that responsibility was making sure all posts are the same throughout all platforms. Everyone has their favorite social media site, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even LinkedIn. And all these sites are valuable ways to reach out to a broader audience. So now that we have our social media sites and story going out, this is where the recognition started to come in as the momentum started to build. Our wide presence as well as our growing fan base began to attract other major profiles that have large followings and reach. For example, you can see right here, Bisect Hosting tweeted about us, NVIDIA tweeted about us, Microsoft tweeted about us. We even took over the UC Berkeley Memes for Edgy Teens that has like 200,000 people in there. And we also was on the homepage of UC Berkeley's website. So what's great about these retweets and posts and things like that is that these companies sharing our content story also led to the story being picked up by news outlets too. We're featured on ABC, NBC, CBS, and even like the Daily Show with Trevor Noah. And all of these references are important when we're creating what is called an electronic press kit, or EPK. Those of you interested in media may be familiar with this, but for those who aren't, this is essentially a big zip file full of photos, videos, references, and a big spiel about what you, your project, or your company is doing. The EPK is convenient because it keeps you from having to give the same introduction over and over again or answering the same questions over and over again. And also includes content for the media to use, such as like photos, videos, and things like that. Having one makes you look legit, first off, and also allows anyone to create an easy article about you. Now, this next part I kept separate because Blockeley Music Festival was a beast of its own. What's crazy is that the planning for this music festival happened in just a month, with a team of almost 30 people, half of, actually more than half, not being affiliated with UC Berkeley. We had people from like Asia, from Europe, like all over the world working on this. Here are some quick facts about the festival. It was 2 days, as everyone mentioned, 60 plus artists from around the world. We had 8 sponsors, 2,000 plus unique attendees, and yeah, almost 30 staff. So you're probably wondering how, right? How do you do all of this with just a Minecraft server? It still all comes down to branding. First thing that you need to do is to prove you are capable in order to establish trust. It's always easy to be super ambitious, you know, and hype everyone up, but how can you prove that you can actually make it happen? And this is good advice for real life too. having a proof of concept. Show them examples so they know they're not being tricked into some scam. In fact, there was a Minecraft music festival that happened last weekend that failed miserably. Over 950 artists and servers, 950 artists, and the servers weren't even up for a whole day. How Blockeley showed a proof of concept or POC was we had Zoom meetings with the artists, managers, and sponsors, showed them that all we need is for them to show up. That's all we needed. Everything was set up and ready to go. And also having a clear, detailed pitch deck with lots of pictures and videos is also convenient. Looks like the bell. Yeah, so next thing is kind of related to the previous point about trust, and that's legitimacy. When you're approaching a company like Razer, THX, NVIDIA, or Spin Bicycles about your Minecraft server, how do you tell them that like this is the real deal? We tell them about the media support, the artists invited, and the expected audience. The more big names and numbers, the more impressive. And just a bit of advice from my observation, numbers are often the most convincing things you can show someone. Next is purpose. Like, is it worth their time? What makes it different from another graduation event? Believe me, there were like a lot of Minecraft universities that are kind of doing something similar to us. But what makes us different, right? Why should artists perform at our event exclusively? And why is it worth their time if they're doing it for free? This is answered by purpose. Our event is free for everyone, and it's also bringing attention to a nonprofit that's raising money for businesses affected by COVID-19. We're also opening this up to the entire class of 2020, not just Berkeley students. This is unique, exclusive, and it's a great purpose. Finally, we want to bring value to sponsors, all right? Sponsors are giving us money and merch, and Goodwill is like great for PR, but like these are for-profit companies. They want to make money out of this. So value in marketing comes from reach to a large audience with similar interests. Minecraft is a video game, Blockeley is held in a video game, and lots of gamers are attending this event. If Razer and THX are trying to promote a new gaming headset, what's a better place than a virtual video game music festival? So yeah, I hope this gave you a better idea of how you can also create a story for your project and find support from the world. And that's all for me. Thanks.
Righty, everybody. Hi. We're all going to just get on stage real quick. So sorry, we are a little bit behind schedule. We're just going to do a super fast Q&A.
I just have a question. Like, is the Blockeley version inside the Minecraft version? Like, can you download it, or do you just go to the website?
So currently, we are. You can go to our website to check out all of our information. But currently, the server is on a whitelist. But we'll open up the whitelist for everyone to check out the server shortly after the presentation. The IP is mc.blockeley.com. It's not up right now, just because we're doing this presentation, but it will be after the event.
So my question was, so I know making this would be a really large effort. What do you think was the thing that helped you most while doing this?
I think it's really just the support we were getting. When this started off, like it was just Jordan Hunter. I got added to some group chat, and then we were just building and things like that. And then as we started posting about this on like Facebook and stuff, a lot of people started getting really excited. Schools started giving us support, and yeah, our Discord blew up. We had almost like 300 builders sign up to help out, and yeah, it's just like getting the community involved is the most helpful and motivating thing.
It wouldn't be possible without finding the right people for our team and being able to work together and solve all these problems, because there's too much to work on, so we have to distribute it, and it wouldn't be possible without having all the people.
Is to go into the tour, is it on Minecraft Java, or is it on something else?
The tour will be in Minecraft Java. As soon as the Q&A is done, I'll actually show exactly how to get onto our server once we lift the whitelist, which will be immediately after the presentation.
Yes. What was the hardest part of dealing with all the mean people who kept putting in fake servers into your...
This was a super tough thing to handle, because As you know, like if you're hosting maybe a small Minecraft server with your friends, that isn't really an issue because not many people know about it. And it's really hard to attack servers like that. You have to spend a lot of money and you have to have a lot of mean intentions. So not a lot of people know how to deal with this. But luckily we had some people on the team who knew how to deal with it. It required a lot of coding and a lot of security like courses and know-how from Berkeley that we learned in class. So in general, yeah, on the back end, we were frantically scrambling to write code and put up basically what's called a firewall to make sure that people who were bad couldn't come in.
What were your biggest problems when you were making your campus, and how did you overcome them?
Greatest problems. I want to say just getting things organized and getting them done on schedule, because we had to outline over 100 buildings on campus and they all had to get done before May 16th. And believe it or not, a month, or I guess 2 months since the beginning of the project wasn't a lot of time if you think about it. So we had to constantly ping on our Discord, hey guys, this is our schedule, this is what we should be building, this is what we should have done by this point in time. So basically, it was just keeping people accountable and making sure that everything got done in time, which thankfully it did, with a lot of long nights. But also those long nights were definitely the most fun nights, I'll say.
They were.
Good question.
I just also wanted to add, you know, we had over 10 million blocks to place, so getting everything organized was critical. Yeah.
10 to 20 million.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alrighty, since that was the end of the Q&A, super fast, I'm going to show everyone how to get into Blockeley. So if you have Java Edition, you know, you'll click multiplayer, add server, and the address is mc.blockeley.com. Make sure that this is set to prompt or enabled. I prefer prompt. So hit done, it just popped up. And I can see a lot of people have already joined us, and you just double click on it and you'll be able to join, and this is where you'll appear. Once this loads. All right, so now that we're here, we can now walk around. And yeah, that's about it for Blockeley. But yeah, for the folks joining the tour, we'll see you soon. You'll have your listed instructions available pretty quick here. Alrighty, I'm going to stop screen sharing here, and that'll be about the end of it. Thank you all so much for coming.
I think that's pretty much it, actually. We're just going to finish here, and hopefully we'll see all of you guys on Zoom or in Minecraft in about 15 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. All right, bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.